Why are you so fucking lazy? It's not a very nice question, really, is it? And yet, if you're lazy, you probably ask yourself that question a lot. You've probably been asked that question by parents, teachers, maybe bosses in the past. So what is laziness? Why are we lazy? Well, it's probably not what you think. In a minute, I'm going to tell you what the root cause of laziness really is. But first, let me tell you about my laziness. So when I was at sixth form in school, between the ages of about 16 to 18, I was really lazy. Right, I would rarely ever show up to any lessons. I'd much rather just hang out with friends or just go down the pub. I would always hand in homework and everything late. I wouldn't study for exams, and I just barely scraped my way into university because of the general studies A-level that I did at the time. Now, I'm not lazy now, right? I mean, I can be sometimes, but generally I'm pretty focused. Can sometimes be perhaps a little bit of a workaholic, depending on the month. So why am I not lazy now when I was lazy then? Well, to examine this in a bit more detail, let's look at what the opposite of laziness is. Right, when you're not being lazy, you're motivated, you're driven, you're passionate, you're happy, you're focused, you're taking action, and you feel good. Laziness is the opposite of all those things, right? You're not taking action, you're not focused, you're not feeling good. The more I look into it, the more I examine the behavior of lazy people, the more I come to believe that laziness is a mental health issue. There's a book by Devon Price, who's a PhD, and he studies and researches social psychology. And his book is called Laziness Does Not Exist. In fact, his argument is that lazy in itself is a pretty lazy word, right? If you say I'm lazy or you say that person is lazy, what you're describing is the results of their behavior. But you're not being specific about the reasons why they are behaving that way. In other words, there's usually a lot more going on. Laziness is not the whole story. You have to think about why. Why are you not feeling demotivated? Why aren't you taking action? Why don't you feel happy? Why don't you feel driven? Like, are you struggling at the moment? There's probably some reasons behind your behavior. And this is probably the source of your so-called laziness. In fact, sometimes being lazy isn't lazy at all. In fact, a lot of the time you're using so much energy and time to deal with other things, and because all your resources are being consumed there, you're really busy and you are taking action, maybe processing an emotion, maybe dealing with something really difficult, and therefore you don't have any resources left to do the thing you're supposed to be doing, right? And that's why you appear lazy in that particular area. Really, in language, lazy is a word people use to shame other people, and it's a word we use to shame ourselves. For one, if you're calling somebody lazy, then, like we just discussed, you're being pretty picky about what they're lazy about. Somebody who's having a really tough time in their personal life is full. Like, their energy levels are being used up. So are they lazy if their fitness levels start to go down and they don't go to the gym? Well, they might be lazy in one area, but in the other area, they're probably being very proactive, and it's using up all of their energy. In fact, when you shame yourself for being lazy, it just makes the situation worse. It's a little bit like when we use the word should, right? The word should just be swapped for the word shame. If you're saying to yourself, oh, I really should go to the gym, I really should build this business, I really should improve my diet, what you're really saying is, shame on me for not doing this. And shaming really never helps anyone, right? Wouldn't it be better to swap that word for the word want? I want to do this. I feel energized about going to the gym. Wouldn't it be amazing if I built this business? Now, it's a subtle change in language, but really what that represents is an attitude about opportunities that you could explore rather than just putting yourself down because you haven't done something. So, rather than being lazy about describing laziness or shaming yourself or others for being lazy, how do you actually fix the problem, find the root cause of the laziness, and then improve the situation? Well, one method you can use is to first find out what your values truly are, and then make sure you're operating within those values. I follow a really interesting person called Dr. John Demartini, who's a human behavior specialist. And his research discusses how different parts of the brain are more utilized based on whether you're operating inside or outside of your values. To put it simply, if you're doing something that aligns with your values, then it will excite you. You will feel motivated to do it. You won't procrastinate, and you could just do it forever, right? So if you think in your life right now, what is something that you could just do all day? Maybe it's playing tennis, right? Maybe it's playing video games. Maybe it's researching history, right? There's going to be something that energizes you and makes you want to do more of it, and you feel like you could just do it forever. That is an activity that aligns with your values. So here's the fascinating thing. When you're doing something that aligns with your values, what it does is it lights up your cerebral cortex, or in other words, the part of your brain that really makes you human, right? This is the part of the brain that really made us leap forward in terms of evolution. This is what separates us from monkeys. Like when you are operating in your cerebral cortex, you're thinking logically, and it enables you to operate within your highest mental capabilities. So you do your best work when you're operating in line with your values. However, if you're doing something that's out of alignment with your values, then you'll be using more of your amygdala. Now, your amygdala is what controls your emotions, and also what stores all of your fear-based memories. So all the bad stuff that makes you act in weird ways. A lot of the times people are racist or really hot-headed or have black and white views on certain things is because the thought process is coming from the amygdala. Now, this is the stuff that monkeys operate from, right? We're not our best selves when we use that part of our brain. So this could explain why when you do those things that are out of alignment with your values, you get demotivated, you procrastinate, right? It takes you forever. You don't feel energized, and you have a bad feeling inside your body when you're trying to do it, because it's triggering a lot of these fear-based memories, and you're operating from a place of emotion rather than a place of logic. So no matter how lazy you are, there will be some things that you could do forever, right? Some tasks that you love doing that excite you, or that you can at least accept doing, right? And they're not painful. So the first step to break free from this so-called laziness is figure out what those tasks are. Like maybe it's just playing video games. Maybe right now you feel so demotivated, so unhappy that all you want to do is sit down and play video games. Well, if that's the case, then you could probably play those video games all day and all night, right? There will be something about those video games that you like. What is it? Is it the gamification? The fact that you get little dopamine hits and rewards when you achieve something? Is it the feeling of progression you get when you go up a level? Is it the competitiveness within the game when you want to beat other people, right? Is it the data? With a lot of video games, you have to track data based on different activities you're doing, and you have to learn from the data and then progress, right? Some of these video games are really complicated, particularly the MMOs and stuff like that. So if you can find out the things that excite you about the video game, then you can transfer that stuff to another area of life that would have similar stuff. Okay, it's not going to be playing a video game, but it might energize you in the same way. Now, these activities that energize you will give you a clue to what your inner values are. And if you can do something with your life that aligns with those values, some kind of career that matches those values, then you will just excel. Like, to give you an example, my number one value in life is building things. I just want to build things. When I was younger, I put that creative building energy into building music, creating albums, tracks, songs. I could do it all day, and I did. I used to stay up till 6, 7 in the morning making music, and then sleep, and then wake up, and then check the music, and then keep working on it. And I never stopped. Now I've used the same passion for building things into building companies, and that's what I do now. And I could do it all day, and I do it all day. So determine what your values are, and then start to get inspired by the energy you have, and then find something you can do, ideally that makes you money, right? So you can live on it, that aligns with those values, and the laziness will start to melt away. All right, so what I've done in the description is I've put a link to Dr. John Demartini's value determination test. This is what I did. I actually did it with them on a 5-hour Zoom meeting to determine my values. You can actually do it for free just by filling out the form. I'm not affiliated with him. He doesn't know I'm doing this. I haven't been paid. I just think it's an amazing resource, and you should probably go check it out. I used it, found it really valuable. It really gave me a lot of clarity, so I felt like I had a duty to share it with you. As I say, it's free. Just click the link. You can go do it straight away. Figure out your values. This could be the thing that helps you move forward this year and get some amazing results. All right, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe, and there's some links in the description if you want some help building your business, and we'll catch up very soon.